dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Put your clinicals on that resume. Spill the answers like resume templates for a new grad nurse. People who wing things can wing things. Hey guys, welcome back to another video on this channel. My name is Rejoice, your new favorite grad nurse. Your favorite new grad nurse. Your favorite new grad nurse. We gotta get it right, okay? We gotta get it right. Anyways, today's video is about how to get a job in the US as an international student RN, or as an international nursing student or student nurse. One of the two. We'll figure out the title when we edit this video. Anyways, hi, if you're new here, thanks for checking out this channel. If you're returning, hi, welcome back. I am so glad to see y'all here again. So yeah, what's the agenda for today? So today I'm just gonna give out like a couple little tips on how to secure your first nursing job. Everyone's experience is different, so I'm just gonna share my experience and just take little pieces here and there to like piece up your own experience if you're going through this process. So let's start. Point number one is work in that field as a student nurse. So if you're currently still in school, this is a great tip for you. I know some schools do have different processes, as in having CPT or no CPT. If you're an international student, you know what this is. If your school has a CPT program embedded in your curriculum, I say use it. I mean, it's gonna be a great advantage for you to use that CPT to see the type of job you even want after school. If you're not an international student, definitely find a job. It's very easy for you to find a job. Depending on the program, whether you're in the traditional program or accelerated program, definitely look at what best works for you and your schedule with school, with life, and all of the above. But as an international student, I would advise to go to a school that has CPT in that program. And if you don't go to a school that has a CPT in that curriculum, maybe find ways to like be in that field, so that volunteering a couple hours a day, see if the hospital around where you're at would even let you volunteer. Even if you're volunteering for like just a couple hours in a day or a week, I think it's just a good thing to have, like, because you're building connections, you're building network for what you would need in the future when you graduate and stuff like that. Does that make sense? Yes. My second tip is utilizing your clinical time. Now, if you are in the situation where you can't work, you don't have CPT or anything like that, it's best to use your clinic because you're already there. So you're using your clinical time, whether you're in a different unit that you think you're gonna be in, but you really like the hospital that you're in. Use that clinical time to talk to your preceptor, to talk to the manager if they're on the unit, to talk to like whoever it is you need to talk to, see one, if they hire international students to work after the school. Two, to see if they would like sponsor your, like if you're thinking long term here, to see if they would sponsor your papers to be in the country. So utilizing your clinical time is definitely gonna be a game changer if you can't work in the hospital or volunteer. The third thing is, while you're networking here and there, fitting your resume to best fit the job you're looking for. I think this is a very important tip, because you can't put in your resume all these different qualities that the job you're applying for doesn't need or necessarily is looking for. So you gotta like tailor your resume to be like your future employers, what they're looking for in you. Now, if you need help with writing your resume and all of that, you should utilize your school resources if they have any, like the library resources. I feel like every school has a library resources. If you don't have a library resources, find friends that you think are good with doing resumes. Like for me, I had to find friends. I also used a research that I had in a previous class that I took before graduating, and I used that. And so I also Googled. Google is your best friend. Resume templates for a new grad nurse. So that's how you should work on your resume. But definitely work on your resume. And I know it's also daunting for international students, especially that don't have any experience like working in the nursing field. In my interview, I was telling my interviewer that, yo, I'm an international student, not like but like I explained myself. I said, I'm an international student, so I don't have a lot of working experience in the nursing and the medical field, but here's what I have. So if you have no experience whatsoever, like you haven't worked, it's only your clinicals that you have, put your clinicals on that resume, especially the floor you want to work on. Put that clinical of that floor that you worked on and tailor what you did on that floor on that resume. Obviously, any nursing interviewer would know the basic things, the basic roles that you performed on that floor as a student nurse. If there's something that's not general that you know like you did on that floor, definitely put it on there because it's a unique experience to you. That could also help boost your resume up. Fourth tip that I have is choosing your interview date. Now, there are some hospitals, there are some agencies that whenever you pick your date, you pick the time, and the times range from like morning or evening. So definitely pick the time. Now, if you're a morning person, pick the morning time. If you're an evening person, pick the evening time. Don't pick a time that you think would be best for you, but like you don't even, whenever on a normal day, whenever you're on that time, you don't even function. Does that make sense? So let's say you're a night person and you pick a morning time. How is that gonna work for you if you don't function well on that time? You know what I mean? So definitely pick the time that works best for you. I picked the morning time. I think I was the first person. I picked the first time that I had, and the reason why I picked that was because I didn't want my interviewers to be tired throughout the day. Obviously you're gonna be tired throughout the day, right? And I don't want to come in the middle of the day and not have the best like experience in my interview. Yeah. So what else am I trying to say in that? But yeah, definitely pick an interview date or time that works well with you, because you want to pick a time where you are fully like mentally functioning. So yeah, that's basically it. Tip number 5, the next one I have is preparing for your interview. So you pick your date, you pick your time. Now it's time for you to prepare for the interview. Interviews are daunting. Okay, let me tell you, I'm not a big fan of interviews. That's literally what you need to do. You need to have an interview before you get your job. So for you to have the best interview experience, I feel like you need to prepare. Some people can wing it, okay? Some people who wing things can wing things and will be fine. But for people who need extra steps preparing and figuring out like, okay, this is what I'm gonna say when they ask me this, then this is for you. I can definitely tell you I prepared. Like I looked up Google like common questions that people ask in an interview for a new grad nurse. Now, I didn't get all of those questions. I don't even think I got any of those questions that I looked up, because my interview was actually like a conversation. We were having like, it was flowing. So I don't think they looked up questions in the past. Plus, especially if your interviewers are experienced, they already know what kind of questions they want to look into when you're in that interview. Does that make sense? So they already have those questions in your back pocket and you just gotta spill the answers like blah, 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 blah. Okay. So ways for you to prepare for an interview is asking your friends. I call her my big sis. Literally she was in my program like a couple cohorts before me, maybe one cohort before me. I started, like she's been a great like influence in my nursing journey. So, and she's also in the hospital that I'm working at, but we're not working on the same floor. But anyways, God has really used her for me in this whole nursing journey. So I hit her up and I'm like, yo, I'm having this interview and I'm like stressing out that. So even with her busy schedule, because she started working before I got the job, obviously. So with her busy schedule, we were able to like fit something in. She like gave me pointers and tips and like questions to ask and what to look for and all that stuff. So definitely find friends who can do that role play question and answer type thing for your interview. And then the next one I wanted to say is also go online and look up questions that could also, you feel like might be a potential question your interview would ask you, and then practice those answers. Now you can memorize them if you have a good memorizing skills, but sometimes I feel like if you memorize them and you are on that day and you're talking to the interviewer and you miss one step, sometimes I feel like you can fall into like this moment where you're like, oh crap, I don't know the next thing to say. So I wouldn't say memorize it, I'll just say like practice it to the part where it flows more natural from you, like out of you, and not like you're reciting an answer. Does that make sense? So yeah. Also go into that interview having some questions, because obviously they're gonna ask you, do you have any questions for me? And you don't want to be like, no, I don't have any questions. This is gonna be the department you're gonna be spending 2, 3, 4, 5 years in your career into. So you want to make sure that you're asking about the culture there, if they have any like resources to help you as a new grad nurse, what their mission and vision, like their goals, how often they're gonna be like checking up on you, seeing how you're doing in this new role, if they have any like diversity questions. Okay, well, how do you cater to have issues? Like, I don't know, you just want to make sure that you have questions. It's just like you're about to rent an apartment. You want to make sure that everything is like to a T, even though life is not to a T, but you want to make sure everything, you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, because again, you're gonna be in that unit. You and your colleagues are gonna be working together and like all that stuff. So you want to make sure that you have those questions and the answer is what you're also looking for. And the last tip is Honestly, getting a job in the US as a nurse is not gonna be hard. Sorry, there was a spider. I'm ready to move out of this house. As a new grad nurse, getting a job in the US is not gonna be hard because of the nursing shortage that there is. Literally all the hospitals in the US need nurses. As an international student, like, you should be able to get a job. But the question is, when you get a job, is which hospitals would file for you or sponsor you and like all that stuff. I know there are agencies who do that. I know there are different resources, but I would be careful with all of that. That's all of my 2 cents that I've got on this topic on how to get a job in the US. And as always, if you have any questions, please put them down in comments and I'll do my best. I don't know all the answers in the world, but I will do my best to put the resources down that I have and that I know. And if I don't know, again, you guys will know that I don't know. So anyways, thanks again for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe if this video or this topic is important to you or know somebody who's going through this phase or going through this process. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.